All right, here we go.
Experimental unit clone force 99. The effective clones with desirable mutations. They call themselves the Bad Batch.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a superb episode of
Uh-oh.
Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah,
I'm Drew.
And I'm Andrew.
and we are back with The Bad Batch, Episode 6, Decommissioned.
Commissioned.
And it was a banger, if you ask me.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Well, you know what, Jeremy? We are going to ask you at some point today. So it's good to know that it's a banger in your book.
What?
He said, if you
All
ask
right.
me, and I said, we're going to ask him.
Okay.
Wow.
I was lost there for a second.
I was too. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But, just quick, we're going to have our socials at the end. So I know that's everyone's second favorite part of the episode is when we go over our socials, but we're going to do that at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, if you haven't caught on from either this past Tuesday or today's episode, we're trying something new. And really, for Bad Batch episodes, it's not that big of a deal because we're not doing voicemails as well. We only do those on Tuesdays. But we're trying to give you the content right out of the gate. So for those of you that are impatient like me, you don't have to wait. It's just boom. Here we go. Let's jump right in. And if you stay through the whole episode on Tuesdays, you get the guarantee of hearing at least one voicemail from a listener. I guess as long as we have them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not guaranteed.
I mean, we're gonna do it. If we have voicemails, we're gonna do it, and they're always a lot of fun. So, yeah, make sure you
Stay
but
tuned.
for these, it's just the social media that we're moving. So, there's your one and only warning. From now on, we're just gonna do it.
All right, so do we fly on over now, or are we already there?
No, we're there. We're
Okay,
here.
so.
You've been riding on the underside of a freighter this whole time.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, and then the second it started, we just
dropped
popped right off, and then just flew right down. So,
All right. Well, what were your guys' overall thoughts of the episode Decommissioned?
I'll go. I was gonna give Drew a few seconds to see if he wanted to go. I'll go. I really enjoyed it. I think this was the closest episode for me to dethrone the first episode.
Ooh,
Very close.
very
so far.
close. Oh,
We
yeah.
were watching different things, but okay.
Oh,
Oh,
controversy coming.
here we go. I think. Yeah, I would say if you take episode 1 out of it for me, this was my favorite episode so far of like all the episodes since the beginning.
Interesting.
Drew, don't look at me like that.
I
Don't look at me like that. Oh my gosh.
I did.
I feel like he's gonna go on a Last Jedi rant on this episode. I
What?
feel
No,
like.
no.
Listen, for those of you that are listening to the audio only version, he
Boom
had,
said
like,
worst
his-
episode in the chat, just so you know.
Hey, and you know what?
I mean,
Boom, Riley, you have your opinion, and that's okay. But Drew was definitely judging me for mine, and that's why I
I
said what I
didn't
said.
judge
So
you. I just looked
your
at you.
eyebrow was up and everything. Yeah, okay.
So,
Anyways,
okay.
I really enjoyed it. I thought there was a lot of really good stuff here. And I'm going to go ahead and say it now in case I forget it. I loved that they used the Trade Federation motif.
Oh yeah, I have that in my
Yeah.
notes.
I loved that. So, yeah. All in all, I think it was great.
Well, before Drew derails everything, let me give my thoughts on the episode.
I'm not gonna derail anything.
So immediately, I knew that this episode was going to get a lot of hate when Trace and Rafa were in there because everyone hated them. But I was surprised, but also not surprised at the same time. Like it makes sense to me that they would bring them back. It just makes sense. So like I'm not looking back. Like yeah, I was surprised. Like oh, I didn't expect that at all. But it wasn't like a bad surprise. But I know that a lot of people hated those two characters, and so I feel like a lot of people hate this episode for that reason.
Yeah.
But I liked it because if people see that they have matured and progressed in their abilities to do a gig like this, like you can like them more because if they're everyone just kind of expects them to be the same as they were in the Clone Wars where they had no idea what they're doing, but they actually knew what they were doing in this episode like fairly well. Like
That's a
they've
good point.
grown a lot, they've learned a lot, and so I feel like they could become like a high level like bounty team or whatever, like duo. Now, but we see that they're doing it for good reasons. It seems like at least it's implied. We're hoping that's an honest
Truth.
avenue that they're bringing us. But
Yeah.
I like that aspect that they've gotten better. So like, if they were terrible, then I would have been disappointed by the episode. But since they're progressing, it's fine. But
Yeah.
as far as the rest of the episode, I just thought it was a fun episode. Like just running around the factory and
Mhm.
stuff, and it kind of puts like bookends on the Clone Wars in a sense because we see in
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones the droids being built in a factory, and in here we see them being
Yeah.
decommissioned.
Yeah.
And so it's like
It's
the
pretty
end of
cool.
an era is officially at an end, basically.
Now, about that real quick. I asked Andrew this in our watch party, but Jeremiah, do you think that they were a little kind of sad or like when they saw them getting like destroyed like that?
Who's they?
Like the clones?
No.
Do you think they had any feelings about it?
I think they didn't care.
Okay.
Yeah. I said the same thing.
I feel like, yeah, I guess, yeah. My thought behind that was, I just feel like maybe they're like a little, because they still don't know their place in the galaxy and what they're supposed to do now. So I feel like it would be a little disheartening to see, like they won this war, but now what they do, and it kind of, for me, I feel like maybe they feel a little disheartening, but I mean, I don't know if anyone thought about it.
It would
like
be
that.
different if they were melting clones, but like,
Well, true. That's
because it was
fair.
droids, like
Yeah.
these were the things that they fought
This is what they wanted,
day in and day out,
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So I don't know. I don't know if I'd have. I mean, like I had sympathy for the droids.
I didn't have sympathy. I
But,
had
like-
sympathy. Not that they had sympathy, more like they feel disheartening that what is their purpose, It's not that they like
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
it's not that they actually were sad that they're getting destroyed. It was more like, oh shoot, like it's real. The reality is really real. That what is their purpose?
Yeah.
And it kind of highlighted that for me. I don't know if it did for anyone else, but that was my, like, right when I saw that, I'm like, I feel bad for them because they don't really have a purpose and they have no, what is their purpose now? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not really a disappointment with the episode, but one thing that I felt like they could have done to like raise attention for us was because obviously we have the Wrecker things in this episode where he
Yeah.
briefly turns and then turns back, but I think it would have been great if when Omega was stuck on the conveyor belt thing, that Hunter sent Wrecker to get her and said, told her exactly which conveyor belt shot, and while he was turned, and he's going there to like kill her basically because he's turned, and then as he's on the conveyor belt going towards her, it switches off, and then we get that relief, and then he saves her, like where no one else knew what was going on except for Wrecker, and then it stopped, and then he doesn't know what to do with it, and then I thought they could have done that where because we thought like right when it happened, like I was like, oh no, this is the episode, this is all gonna go terrible, and then it just turned off really quick. So
I definitely think it's going to happen though.
Here's
Well, yeah.
here's the thing. here's why I think they did what they did. I think that would have been like a great way to add tension into the episode for sure. Especially because she falls off the conveyor belt and just like lands on a pile of droids. So the danger wasn't like the stakes weren't as high as I thought they were going to be, you know, because normally 9 times out of 10 when something like that's happening, like the molten metal is open, like the floor's open and they're about to die.
It was definitely Toy Story 3.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
No one needed to
I didn't
remember
even
that.
think of. Okay. Well,
Here's what I'm thinking. So it's been this slow burn.
Yeah.
You know, we've like hit his head, and it's like been once or twice per episode. And I feel like that would have been too quick. I think that they gave us exactly the right amount of tension with him specifically that we needed. But then, if he went to attack her, would that mean that they were subconsciously tipping their hats off to the fact that she's force sensitive? Or would it be just because she's a part of the Bad Batch and a quote traitor? And see, that's where it would get a little dicey because it's like, why is he doing it? Is she actually force sensitive, or is it just because he sees the whole squad now as a traitor? So, anyways, it might have been confusing for some people, but then again, I keep forgetting that we have like 14 or 15 episodes, or is it 16?
It's 16, so we have
Total
10 more to go.
Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot of ground to cover for sure.
mm-hmm.
All right, Drew.
All right, y'all ready? Y'all buckled in? Y'all strapped
No,
in?
But go ahead.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was a really good episode.
What the heck?
I mean, y'all built that up for no reason.
Hey, you made your face about how I was like you hated the episode, and then
Yeah, I said it was one of my favorite episodes. You're like, okay, you're doing all this stuff. Okay, whatever. Keep going.
So my biggest thing about it was my eyebrows that I gave you, Andrew, had nothing to do with the episode itself. I just liked the last episode a lot more. That was it. And so, like, for me, it's like my top 3, but it's not my favorite episode, only because, like, we were just, I don't know, like, it was really good. I liked it a lot. I think the music was amazing, like how they did that. You kind of spoiled that for me a little bit, but that's because we were watching the watch party. But I was kind of sad that we didn't get to see who they're talking to. That was my only complaint, is I wanted to see who it was, and Andrew kept teasing me this entire. Okay, go ahead.
So we were watching the whole during the stream party. There was one point where, right when you see or you hear their voices, Trace and Rafa's voices for the first time, and it's like you hear them, and then Rafa, her helmet comes back up. Yeah. So he freaked out and was like, Ahsoka.
oh, fuck.
And I was like, no, it's not Ahsoka. And he's like, yo, but they worked with Ahsoka. I was like, dude, no. And so, but then I started going every once in a while, I'd be like, man, it would be really crazy if a Jedi showed up, right? Like, or like there would be a
Drew
super tense moment.
During the stream?
I watched it live once with Andrew, and the entire time he's like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if there's a Jedi there?"
Every time there was a tense situation,
anytime anything happened, it was
Yeah.
so annoying.
Omega
And
was
then-
doing the
and then
conveyor
at-
belt, I'd be
yeah.
like, oh man, it's gonna be crazy if a Jedi swoops in last minute to save her, right? Or like when the police droids were overpowering them, I was like, man, this would be a perfect time for someone with a a white lightsaber to show up or something. And I just kept teasing him the whole
The
time.
entire time. And then so for me, I was like, okay. And then when they saw this hologram and we didn't see who it was, I was so annoyed. I was like,
Yeah.
I was okay.
Even-
So let's say,
And then the droid has a very similar color scheme to Ahsoka's old droid. I was like,
yes,
Drew, did you see what color the droid is?
I was so annoyed. So let's just say I probably would have enjoyed this episode more if I watched it by myself.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Dang.
Just kidding.
Man,
I was
it's gonna be crazy if like your voice track tonight accidentally just gets muted when I'm editing.
That would be crazy.
Man,
Yeah. Yeah, that would be crazy. So don't do that, please. I don't want that. Shots fired in the chat. No, for real though. For real. No, I loved it. But that was like my only thing is like if we would have got that, I probably to see who they're talking to probably would have gave me chills.
that's the point.
I know it is a point. I get
What
it.
what if Moochie?
I think I know who it is, but we can save that for the end of it.
Okay.
If
What if Moochie was in this episode too? Would you have liked
True.
it more?
I was gonna say that was like the other thing for me is that last episode had so much Tatooine nostalgia for me that that's probably why it's not
Oh,
beating last episode because there's a lot of Tatooine hints and stuff like that.
okay.
But this episode, I probably like this podcast episode. I'll like it more because you're here this week with us, Andrew. So,
Aw.
thank you.
shout outs to you
Thank
for
you.
being here
But-
this week.
We started late again.
We started
This
late,
season back, so-
but you know what? You know what, Jeremiah? This episode is not going to be 45 minutes to an hour only. So.
Yeah, hopefully it's a little longer. than
It's
last
going to
week.
be a little longer than last week. So,
I would like to make note that it was
So
not
our
my
list-
fault that we started late.
no, it was my fault, and the thing didn't even work. So, whatever. Anyways,
Boo, Twitch.
Ooh, Twitch is
Boo,
weird.
Twitch.
Also,
We're
when-
on Twitch right now. No, boom. They could like
True.
be watching
We
right
love
now
you,
and-
Twitch. We just don't understand why people are subbing and the alerts aren't coming up right. And
What if they have the Twitch police is like, oh, they booed us, kick them
Boop.
out, they're out, and this stream just shuts off. That would
that would, let's not. We've been shut off on other levels already, and I don't want this to be
Oh,
one of
gosh.
those levels.
Yeah,
so,
let's not do that.
yeah. Hashtag give
All
us
right.
our merch back.
gosh. Anyway, let's jump into scene by scene. So
Yeah,
we're
let's
back
jump in.
on Ord Mantell, and I feel like the view of the city this time was better animated than it was last week.
It
And
was.
last week. It was amazing.
It did look.
I
really
literally
nice.
thought it was a different place. I was like,
it was
Yeah,
so
what?
good.
Drew goes, "Is this Coruscant?" I was like,
I was
"Nah, dude.
confused. I was like,
That's not. This is not the same."
this is way different. And then once we were in the cantina, I was like, okay, it's not. But like, and Andrew definitely said it wasn't. But it definitely looked better. I don't know. It was something about it. I was like, I'm confused. Where are we again? But yeah.
And I think later on at the end of the episode, I think when they left Corellia, that the ship and like the background of the planet and space, it looked like it was like a movie quality. Like you
Yeah.
could put those side by side and you wouldn't know that it was an animated show.
And in another thing in my defense, I thought they left like right after that episode because when like Hunter walked away and they had that little like you owe me, I thought they would have just left the planet. I didn't realize they're still hanging out there, you know? So it's like,
well, they have nowhere else to go. So
I guess, and no one's really hunting them there yet, so makes sense.
Right.
But
but anyway, we go back to the Katina and Omega almost kills an innocent civilian trying to just have some fun at the local place, and so like that was like, sorry. She was like, sorry. Like it was just like nonchalant,
what?
like sorry. Like
And you can't do Yoda?
hey, don't judge him. That's a
No.
different episode.
have you been
That's-
practicing your Yoda thing?
I have not yet.
Well,
Oh.
To be
that's
fair,
okay.
I've been slammed, but this weekend, get
Ooh.
ready. I'm gonna stand in front of my mirror and just point at myself like that one meme and practice my Yoda impression.
I'm gonna text Makaya and have her like film you while you're in the bathroom in the mirror, like
Nope,
behind the scenes.
nope.
behind the scenes of.
I don't want to. There's no filming in the restroom.
Well,
At all.
that's fair. That's probably illegal. So we
It's
don't.
not.
Well, it is in a restaurant setting. It is.
How are we here? How did we get here?
I don't
Anyway,
know. Anyways,
um,
this is why they're longer episodes. 'cause-
So
Anyways.
Omega and her noodle arms are struggling pretty hard with the target.
she needs to do more
And-
push-ups.
That bow definitely sounds like a lightsaber. Like that's I don't know. I just thought it had a similar sound as a lightsaber, but
I mean, it is. It's similar.
what if
Energy
it's
bow.
powered by kyber crystals?
Oh, you know, I always wonder about things like the bows because with at least with blasters, they have the power packs. You know, like
Yeah.
there's a kind of an idea, general idea of reloading. But I'm like, does she just get like the unlimited ammo cheat?
Well, and
Hopefully.
my question is, the string is energized too. So if she hits it, does it like hurt her if she hits the string?
Ah, that's a valid.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
that's
she
a good
grabs
point.
it with like the mechanism to pull it back, but if
Yeah.
she accidentally like touched the string part, does that burn her? Does her hand fall off?
I don't think we'll ever find out.
No,
'Cause it's
probably
Star
not
Wars.
because it's Star
Well,
Wars.
well, I'll text Dave Filoni and ask him.
All right, when you text him, ask him for our merch back. All right.
Wait, oh gosh, no. Okay, please continue.
So I thought it was great that the Weequay and the Ethereum, right? That's what, Ethereum.
Yes, correct. That's
How
good.
they were betting on her. I'd be cool if they were just like in every episode, it's like they're the cheerleaders of the Bad Batch.
That
I think
would
that'd
be
be
funny.
cool.
That
They're
would be
funny
cool,
guys.
yeah.
Just betting on it, and so it was kind of weird that because Echo was the one training her, which I feel like he shouldn't be the one training her, but
Wait, why?
because he did,
Because he only has
why?
one arm.
Why? Okay.
Is that what you're gonna say?
he's.
Ooh.
I feel like that's not what he's good at. Like he's not archer. I feel like Hunter would be the one that would know how to like
Hunt.
adapt to using a new weapon or something like that.
Well, it would have been Crosshair. Yayo.
Oh, GG.
Sorry.
Yeah, speaking of where the heck has Crosshair been? Like
He's brooding.
it's been forever and a day.
He's,
since
he's
we've
in his
seen him.
room brooding, listening to My Chemical Romance and
Okay. Well,
But Echo, I referred to her like soldiers have to do this, blah blah blah. Like so, it's interesting that it's like he's training her to be a soldier, which is this. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of weird. That yeah, she's part of the team, but like I feel like they shouldn't be training her to be a soldier. Like I don't know. That's
Well,
just different than like
I
being
wonder.
a freedom fighter or something.
Yeah, but I wonder if that has to do with their personal training, and also how it's very hard for them to see a future of them not being hunted. You know what I mean? So she
Jeremiah,
needs to know.
Were you saying they trained her to be a freedom fighter and not a soldier?
Yeah, I don't really know
Well, I don't know. I feel like a soldier is
someone who kills.
it's more like good soldiers follow orders type of thing. Like where they're not fighting for something that they believe in. It's just something
very
they do because they're
military.
supposed to.
Oh.
Whereas a
yeah.
freedom fighter, they're fighting for a cause. They're trying to better society, like from a personal
got you.
level. Whereas soldiers are more just follow orders. Even though that's not obviously with a lot of the clones that we know, they're moral agents and like
Yeah.
they're people. But
I feel like that
she's a
now,
little girl, and they're calling her like training her to be a soldier. It was just weird
Yeah.
for me.
I will tell you that is a really interesting point that I hadn't thought of because
Me either.
all of a sudden their allegiance and their reason for fighting has completely been upended. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you've got an overnight 180-degree complete just moment. And I do think that I hadn't even thought about that because for me it seems natural because that's all they know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't even think they've really learned what it means
I was
to
gonna-
be
I
a
was-
freedom fighter yet.
I was gonna say,
Um,
are they a freedom fighter? They're
Because
not.
at the end, Rafa says
It-
at the end of the day, everyone
it's
has
happening.
a choice on what side you're going to be on.
They don't
Yeah,
know
it's
yet.
So now they're choosing to be
Well,
who they are rather than.
But
just
the other thing
being
that I
who
want
they
to
are.
mention,
Created to be.
the only thing that I want to mention though is they're used to fighting in a squad, right? A 4-person squad, and so I feel like they're training her or a 5-person squad. I feel like they're training her that way, so that because they know they can't leave her behind. She's honestly in more danger of being left behind,
Then-
as we've seen,
correct.
than being with them. And so I think they're doing that because it's just as much for her as it is for them. Because like when you work together in a group of people like that, like I got this reading the Republic Commando, the first novel, there was a change. There was like a 2-member swap at the beginning of the book. And like they got 2 new members in for this commando squad. and there's this inner monologue of like I know they're well trained, but they're no this person, they're not this person. We don't have the same
The
like level of
they have to adapt to it.
yeah. And so part of it is also I feel like they're training her for their sake, so
Yeah.
that
Right.
you know they know that they're on the same page if Hunter gives her an order or or whatever.
Well, and that's what I was trying to say. They don't really know a different way to do it because that's the way they've been trained. And like you were saying, Jeremy, that at the end, at the end they chose, but I don't think they chose. Hunter chose to give them that. They still, as a group, haven't chose which side they lie on yet. And yeah, I think Hunter's in charge, but that doesn't mean they all agreed to be
I think
part
Echo
of.
has.
Well, I'm not saying that they're not going to be the good guys or like part of the.
Sure.
But it just seems like they don't know their place in the galaxy yet, and like you were saying, like the reason why they're training her in that way is to one protect her, like if she does go out and she's able to protect herself, and then also if they're in a situation she can get their back by the way she shoots and stuff like that. So it's a team effort, like you were saying, Andrew. Like
Yeah.
she needs to be good at it so that she can protect herself and protect them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So while she's practicing this, our favorite elderly Trandoshan shows
Yo.
up again.
I love her.
Sid is great.
Sid, which
And
I love Sid.
here's the thing. I really hope she's like the mother or grandmother of Bosk. That would be so cool. Like, because like he's a bounty hunter and she's kind of like sends people out on doing missions,
she
mercenary
could be.
missions. Like,
I didn't even think about that.
there's definitely
That'd be
a
cool.
plausible connection.
I love Sid. I hope she becomes the unofficial mother of the Bad Batch, the mother figure.
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
Also, Andrew, you weren't here last week, but did you listen to the episode?
I wasn't here.
No, you weren't. But did you listen to the episode?
Not yet.
Because
I haven't had long enough to like sit down and actually listen to a podcast.
Because we were talking about how Sid reminds us of the lady from Monsters Inc.
Oh my gosh, the slug.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
It was an Agent 1 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I
I
can see
think
that.
Boom was the one. Boom or David were the one that said that last week in the chat, and it kind of stuck.
Also, can we talk about her archery skills?
I was getting there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Go ahead. Take your
Before
time.
we get to that, she brings the next mission for the Bad Batch.
Forcefully.
To get a tactical droid off of Corellia. So I was excited to hear about Corellia. Wondering what that would look like, because we've seen it 10 years in the future during Solo, but other than that, we haven't seen it before. So I was like, awesome. We haven't had much time there. I want to see it. But it was great how she kind of just like, yeah, like you're gonna do this because I'm telling you. Like she's calling the shots. And even when they're like, yeah, we'll do it. Like, I know, I told you you're going to do it. It was just kind of funny. And then how Tech tries to explain to her what a technical droid is. Like, I know what it is. Goggles and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was
just
funny.
It was just funny. And so, and then after that, she walks up to Omega and says, your noodle arms are so weak. Like, you got to beef up. And she just grabs it. And three shots, like right in the center, and it was just. I feel like she was a past bounty hunter or something like that.
True.
Well, she's very well connected, so I would not be surprised.
And so so they go off onto this mission, and they attach themselves to a freighter on the bottom, and just sneak in like that, which was. Classic, I guess.
I love. Yeah, I was gonna say I love that. I was thinking the same thing. God, what was it? Was it Wrecker or was it Echo that was like this old trick?
Yeah.
Or something. And I was almost at the exact point, being like, really, this is the thing you guys chose to do, but it worked.
It's very Star Wars.
Well, they don't have a chain code for their ship, so like they can't just land anywhere. So especially planet where the Empire is using it to
Create things.
decommission things, and then which will later then build stuff for the Empire. So it wouldn't have been easy for them to get in, I don't think. But yeah, they land and they get into the decommissioning factory where droids are just being melted down. Which it's interesting that I think that all this metal is being melted down, and then that metal is probably going to be used to make all of the stuff in the future. So like when we see an AT-AT, it could have been made up of B1 battle droids. Like it's just interesting to
It's pretty cool. Also, it could be used for multiple. It's honestly most of that metal probably was used for the Death Star.
maybe they need a lot of metal for that.
Exactly.
A
But yeah.
moon size worth.
Okay. Well, yep, that's true.
But immediately they scout the area and it's kind of all right. We gotta go there, here. Like, and everyone just goes their separate ways to do their thing. And of course, Wrecker, who's scared of heights, has to go up the highest. And
Yeah,
What
I
is
liked
this?
that. I liked that they made a callback to that. That was nice.
they did. I was hoping they were gonna use that more in the episode. Yeah, he had the thing where he had to swing across, but I don't know. I thought it was gonna be more of a playing into the plot, but I guess it wasn't. But that's fine. And so Omega, she's looking around and she finds the Techo droid with a decapitated head, which all they need is the head anyway. So
Yeah.
that's
Makes
the important
sense.
thing. And so while she's looking at it and communicating that she found it, someone comes in and takes the head. Like, oh, okay. Like I didn't expect that, but it happened. And so I was like, okay, who's this person? And like I never expected it to be the Martez sisters.
So I made a mistake.
Oh, you thought it was Ahsoka?
No, Drew did.
No, I did not.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. So I made a mistake this morning. So I think I've mentioned this, but like during the weekdays, my Discord notifications turn off completely for my productivity's sake. Because I could literally stay on Discord and talk to people all day.
You're so cute. Thanks.
Okay. So, anyways, but I do have them from when I wake up to 9 a.m. And so I was sitting on Discord, making breakfast and like getting ready to watch the Bad Batch episode, and I saw some notifications go by that were in the Bad Batch thread, and I read them, and
Why would
wasn't-
you choose to read them?
Because
Like I
don't know.
purposely do not look at anything. I wake up
Jeremiah,
I
this
sit
is
down-
my personal decision.
and
Leave me alone.
Okay.
This is the only time I've ever done this, and there were no
It always
spoilers.
starts with the first time, and
Listen,
then
oh my gosh, there were no spoilers, like really crazy spoilers, but there was talk of like, man, I can't believe something along the lines of like, man, I can't believe I never thought I would see them in this episode, and it's really cool that they've become like full rebels and stuff like that, and I didn't have a really good idea of who they were talking about, but the second they showed up, I was very much not surprised. Because my brain made that connection pretty quickly. I was like, oh yeah, that makes what I was reading makes a lot more sense now. So I didn't spoil it per se, but it definitely lessened the blow of that surprise.
right.
So
But so very quickly after Rafa shows up and takes the head of the droid, things go south really quick because Omega confronts her because that's when she reveals and pulls out her bow and is all shaky, and Rafa is trying to talk her down, but Omega accidentally shoots off and hits a pipe, and then that causes problems, and all the workers, they have to abandon ship per se, and so then they're trapped inside. All the Bad Batch and the Martez sisters are trapped inside, and so it's just. Then this is where it's just fun of them just chasing after each other and going back and forth like a fumbled football kind of in a sense, where they're just
Yes, sports ball. A+ reference, my friend.
sports ball.
Yeah, I don't know anything about sports.
That's
so,
his way to say that he knows nothing about sports.
Yeah.
Do you know what a football is?
Well,
Okay,
that's a
I know
good
what a
question.
football is.
Okay.
Not the soccer football, like the
Okay,
American.
okay, I know the difference.
Not the
between-
football. The football.
Oh, that's right, football.
I'm not
versus
an
football.
idiot. I just don't know anything really past that.
Oh, well.
Like I have a basic idea of the games and how they're played, but like if you sit me down in front of a football game, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot happening here, and I have a basic idea of what the goals are, and that's about it.
All right.
I spend
So they're
I spend my,
playing-
look, I spend my time doing other things, and that's okay.
Like talking about Star Wars, which has
Yep.
nothing to do with sports. So keep going, Jeremy.
Wow,
Jeremiah. My name is Jeremiah.
bro, that was a double zinger right there. Shots fired.
I'm pretty loaded tonight. Got
He
my
said,
guns all-
"Andrew, shut up, Jeremiah. You're Jeremit."
Anyway, in order for them to get out of the facility, Echo slash was it Echo or Tech had to completely reset the system and turn it
Yeah.
off.
He was plugged in.
And once you turn the system back on, they needed to hit the reset button or whatever, like manual override. And so the closest person to do that was Wrecker, and he had to do his swing across the thing to get to the other side, which is this. Of course, that's going to happen. They can't just walk across the whatever and get there. They had to swing across. But I thought it was because like I was expecting there to be more tension in that scene because of earlier when he's like, oh no, like he looks up the ladder. But it was I thought it was just he just did it quickly or he jumped, swung over. But it got intense really quick when he swung over and hit his head. It wasn't just that hurt. It was like excruciating
Yeah,
pain.
Yeah.
And
GG.
when he said good soldiers follow orders, like my heart started I was like, oh no, this is it. We've been waiting for this. It's all about to go down. Someone's gonna die, type of thing. And then it cuts back to the football game, and Omega she loses the football head and gets pinned underneath a droid, and then it was Trace that picked it up at that moment? Because she's the one that was about to leave and then saw her pinned, or was it
I think it was
Rafa?
Rafa. I think it was Rafa.
Okay, because I was like, how did...
It was the younger one.
Trace is the younger one. She's the one that saw Omega on the conveyor belt about to die, and she had the head in
I
her
believe so.
arms?
Yes, she did.
Okay. So, and of the two sisters, we know that Trace is kind of like the more compassionate one. And
Yep.
so she, did what she could to get back to Omega to help her. But Omega, she's like, I'm stuck, I need your help. And so,
I will make a comment. There was some great shooting in this episode.
like blaster shooting, not like
Yeah.
camera
No, like
shooting.
no, like legit blaster
Yeah.
shooting. Like there were
Well,
some
yeah, that-
really. I mean, like for the first time, I felt like Hunter was really showing like a high level of blaster skill.
Yeah, and even
know?
even Rafa was really good.
Yeah.
Like there was that scene where Hunter like shoots a droid to save Rafa,
And then she does
and then
the
he's like, "Are
same.
you gonna thank me?" Then she shoots one behind him, and then he shoots one behind her.
Yeah,
And it was just funny how they just went back and forth like saving each other, and they don't even.
and it was so
in a sense-
quick too, and so
Yeah.
spot on. Yeah, like it was really
And like
cool
so
to
that's
see.
when I saw that, like that's when I kind of was like, I was kind of like Drew. I was like, I'm not mad at this. Like seeing her.
I don't hate this.
I don't hate this. Like, so seeing her being competent with a blaster, like made me enjoy it better because it would have been just terrible if it was just kind of like Three Stooges with her like not knowing what to do, and so, um, like I said earlier in the episode, like the fact that they're getting better at what they're doing is made me like those characters more.
Yeah.
But while Omega is pinned down, it flashes back to Wrecker, um, and he kind of has like a, I don't know, like a flashback type of thing, or he hears Crosshair saying, "Good soldiers follow orders," like it was
Yep.
like a memory or something.
Yep.
And so, for me, kind of in that scene, I feel like that was him. That was more of like his thought process. Like we were hearing his thoughts, or like he knows consciously something as bad is happening, and that he's remembering what happened to Crosshair, and he's remembering Crosshair's words, and so that's not like him just like blindly reciting something or hearing those words in his head. Like it was him like thinking and processing, and it's almost like he fought through it, and that's what gave him the breakthrough to then wake out of it. I don't know what you guys think of that. Did you notice that was Crosshair's
Oh yeah.
voice?
Yeah. It's crazy that they paid the voice actor for Crosshair to come back for that one line just for this episode. Like I know that had to have been super, super expensive for them. So I appreciate their dedication to the authenticity of it, for spending that extra money. That's a big deal for me.
Or maybe they just, to save money, they just took the audio from the first episode and just replayed it in the.
Or had the same guy play all the characters,
or the same person does them all.
Nah.
But that would make
He's a genius. But beside the fact, yeah, I did. I noticed that, and it was an interesting point that you made that he was remembering that, because to me it felt like it was more so he was hearing that in his head as a command, and it was manifesting through Crosshair. You know what I'm saying? So instead of it being a memory, and he's like, "Oh, I remember what happened with Crosshair. There's this internal struggle." There was still the struggle. Don't get me wrong. Like he was fighting this thing the whole time, but it was more so it became personified as Crosshair, because that was the most fresh kind of memory he had of that same statement. I don't, maybe.
See,
I
was
what I'm
taking.
saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I was thinking it more. That's the new order that chip is putting out there.
Well, I mean, that is the order.
Yeah,
well, like maybe like the initial order it was kill a Jedi, but
yeah, like
So
now
you're saying
the,
they changed it?
I don't know if they changed it, but that's what that chip is.
Because the clones in the original Clone Wars series that had chip malfunction said the same thing.
Good soldiers follow order.
Yeah,
yeah,
fives,
Fives.
not fives.
No.
well, Tup or cut,
One of them.
cut,
Cut.
yeah. So yeah, he said that too. So I don't know. It could.
It could
I
just
think it's just kind of multiple aspects of what it does.
But I think it's cool that they created a scene that could be interpreted multiple ways like that and still be feasible and legitimate. That's cool.
Right.
That's really cool that they did that.
Yeah. When that happened, I was watching it with the watch party, but I was like, "Oh crap, he's gone. Game over. He's gone. This is not good. There's no turning back. He's fully changed." Because like before we kept getting headaches, we kept getting brain issues. Like, you know what I mean? He couldn't function sometimes, but now it's like we're hearing what's going on in his head, and I thought we lost him completely. And even when he dropped down and he was going crazy and killing them all and stuff, I still thought that as soon as he sees, as soon as he turns around and sees her, like he's gonna start trying to attack her, and they're gonna have to try to figure out how to hold him down or figure it out. But clearly, he was able to turn off again. But I feel like if we get one more of that, he's not gonna be able to turn off. And if he does, it's gonna kind of, for me, it's gonna kind of get redundant if he somehow triggers him again and it doesn't fully. They don't recognize it. If that makes sense. Like
I
it would.
feel like the next time he has an issue, it's gonna be the final
Yeah, and I hope that's true
thing.
because
And
if somehow he gets out of it again, I'm gonna kind of be like, all right, what's the point of it? Like,
I
just
also
get
have
to
a,
it.
I also this man said just get to
Just
it.
get to
Just
the
get it over
point.
with.
Just try to
Um,
kill her, okay?
oh
Oh well,
okay.
but
oh,
try. Don't do it. I don't want her
there's
dead.
do or do not. There is no try. So
Hey.
well. If only you could say it in Yoda's voice. Maybe Andrew will on Tuesday.
Maybe.
You all have to stay tuned for Tuesday.
Okay, but I have a theory about what I think is going to happen, and it's possible that he might not have his chip activate. I think it would be great tension. I do, but I also think he might get saved before that's happened.
Oh,
Before that happens.
Okay.
well, we do see, Echo was making that scanner thing, which might be. We don't really know what the details of what that is, so like it could just be just to scan and read it to like try and study it, or maybe it could be a thing where it can turn it off or whatever. But obviously, I don't think they're gonna let him like go out like with a turned clone. I feel like if he does turn, he's gonna get saved or be redeemed in some way.
Yep.
And so it's going to be through whatever Tech is making.
Making.
I think is what's going to save Wrecker, but I don't think that they're going to save him before he turns.
That's fair. I mean, are we getting into this right now? Do we
No.
want to get in? Okay. I was going to wait, but
We're waiting.
Get into what? What were you going to say?
Predictions?
I was going to say, I mean, I have a theory of what's going to happen, but it's more of a speculation.
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, okay.
Well, I think that one of two things is going to happen. One, again, this is jumping the gun in the speculation territory, but one, I think the person at the end of the episode is Rex. I think that is who Trace and Rafa are working with. What do you mean? Don't shake your head. Why? Tell me why.
Who?
We'll get into it later. Okay, I'll let you do your
Don't
thing.
tell me you think it's Ahsoka.
No, I never thought it was Ahsoka at all.
Well, who else would it be? Boba Fett?
I think it's Bail Organa.
Boba Fett.
Oh, barrel.
Boba Fett.
I think it's Bail Organa.
You think that's why he got his Hollywood star?
Yeah, it's not a coincidence.
Well, anyways, I would like to think it's Rex. And okay, fine. Or maybe Bail Organa gets in contact with Rex and he goes to search for them. And I would imagine that one of the first things he asks him is like, "Yo, what's going on with your chips? This
Y'all
is a
got
big
your
problem.
chips?
Y'all got your chips or not?" And then before Wrecker has another incident, his gets removed. Or before he can get in contact with them about the chips, Wrecker has the incident. It doesn't completely go like crap hit the fan mode. I mean, it gets tense, it gets scary, but he doesn't completely destroy something, and then they get it out before it gets too bad. I don't think we're going to see fully turned Wrecker.
I don't think
be
so
wrong.
either.
Could be wrong.
I feel like we have to see Hulk smash Wrecker. Like we have to see him at his worst. I feel like we have to see that. Now, I don't think that means he's actually going to succeed in killing someone, but I think they're going to show what would happen if the Bad Batch followed Order 66, like how ruthless they would have been. And by seeing Wrecker, like it would have been, I think it would have just been really great in a sad way. But
All right.
I don't know. There's a million ways it could play out. And based on how our theories have been going so far this season, it's probably not going to happen any way we think it's going to happen.
Oh,
So-
no. Yeah,
I mean,
that's probably true.
That's fair.
But let's see. So Omega, she falls down the conveyor belt into the lava pit as it's melting, and she's able to get to the side before it falls into the abyss of molten metal. And Traces, they're trying to help her, and You're using a B1 battle droid leg or something to like hold on to and pull her up, but then Hunter comes and pulls her up and saves her. So
Yeah.
classic Hunter saving
This
Omega.
was the part where this is the part where I was like, Drew, it'd be crazy if a Jedi he said something along the lines of like, she's not going to be able to reach. And I was like, you know what would reach her? The Force.
I was so
Ooh.
annoyed.
He was like, oh, stop it.
Even the chat was like, "Stop."
Let's see. So then, as this is happening, Wrecker is able to come down, and he kind of does his. Wait, does the
No, that's a little bit later.
so the droids are activated first?
The droids are not activated first, but there's a little bit of time between them saving Omega. There's like a little bit of a firefight. Because remember, Wrecker gets up while he's trying to fight the chip
Yeah.
and tries to shoot at the two police droids. He gets shot himself and
Yeah.
falls down, and they think, oh, he's dead. And so they leave him. And then pretty much up until they hadn't activated the droids yet, but like right before they activate the droids, he's like on his stomach, like holding his head.
But when he shoots when he gets shot, that's right when he first hits his head, though.
Yeah.
And
So he's pretty much down the whole time
yeah.
until a little bit later.
But when he jumps down and starts taking out all those droids, is that before or after they activate the separatist droids? I can't remember.
Say that again?
When Wrecker jumps down and starts
Yeah.
killing all those police droids, is that before or after they activate the separatist droids?
That is before.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So-
before.
So he jumps down, he saves the day because they're about to be overrun.
Yep, he saves
And
the day for
then-
the first time, and then they're overrun again.
Right. And it was definitely a along the lines of a dad joke of
Oh,
we need a diversion. And he's like, we need a diversion. And she's like, is there an echo? Yeah, I'm Echo. Like,
I
Yeah, that was
loved it.
hilarious.
I
how did they
loved
wait
it.
so long to
I
do a
don't
joke
know,
like that?
but it was great. It was great. Oh, bless you.
That was a cough. So
Well,
you don't.
I said it anyways.
Okay. But they're able to hack into the taco droids, whatever programming, and I didn't know that's how taco droids worked, where it could turn on droids like that. I don't know.
I didn't either, but it's convenient and it worked.
It worked, convenient. So
Did you suspect Tech during this scene?
what?
Did you suspect that Tech was doing anything other than trying to get the droid to work in this scene?
I don't know. Why? What are you getting at?
Well, because he stuck the data
Rod.
stick,
Yeah.
the data rod into the droid. And he's like, and this will help me get into the program. But like he wasn't doing that. That whole ploy was to get the data out of the droid and sneak it out.
Yep.
Couldn't it be both though?
No, because
Because at the end
when
he
they
gives it to her.
well, but when they were running away, he straight up looked at Hunter, held it up, and said, "Mission accomplished." And then Hunter like half whispered, "Good job."
Well,
Like,
yeah, but why
Tech
can't
knew
it
what
be
he was
both?
doing.
I mean,
I don't think-
he definitely
I think-
helped get that thing to work.
Okay, but when he
But
did
that was the first thing. That was the little first thing he put on. I don't think he needed to do the second thing. I
Right,
think
but-
he was lying to get the information out.
but when he hacked into it, it was when they already first tried to use the head and it
Yeah,
it didn't work.
turned off. And he's like, "Oh, I can do it here." So you can't say it's not both.
I think the whole thing was a trick
So then, how did it work then?
because he put two things on the head. He put two devices on the head. The first one was the real device, and then the second one was the data rod, data stick, or whatever they called it. The first one was the one that actually got it to work. And then he was like, "And this is for the program." Like, dude, no, it wasn't. You were
I have to re-look at that because I don't remember him using 2 devices.
he
Yeah, he
uses 2
did.
devices.
He used the
uses
big one
2.
and then he used a smaller one
No, he
first.
uses this. Yeah, yeah. He uses the smaller one first, and he's like, "This will boost the signal."
Yep.
And this pulls out the data rod will help me get into the program, which is not. Because then when I swear when when they're running away, he's like,
Yep.
"Mission accomplished," and Hunter's like, "Good job," and he like half whispers it, and I'm like, "You knew what you're doing. You're sneaky."
Little
So,
sneaky.
so then I was so right. He did both.
Well, yeah, he did
Yeah,
both, but the data
the
rod had nothing to do with it. That's
Right.
what Andrew's
The
trying
data
to
rod,
say.
that was a trick. He told them it was to get into the program to help the droid start up. But he was really just cloning the droid's information.
Okay. I guess I didn't see.
I thought it was super clever.
I guess I'll have to go back and zoom in and do 20, like slow down the slow-mo to see that. But
Yeah, and David in the chat said they were sneaky because of the sisters, because they were competing. And that's why.
Yeah.
Because he
well,
wanted to get the
I
information.
get what you're saying. I just
Yeah.
it wasn't an obvious thing. So
Yeah.
so they activate the droids, and they all turn on,
Yep.
and they're like, "What's going on?"
Trade
we
Federation theme
win?
plays.
And then, there's that. Yeah, I wrote that too. So I was just like, this is definitely. Whenever I hear that, I always think of episode 1 when they first turn on. I'm like, that's still like one of my favorite scenes in like the prequels is them just turning on and the music playing, and then like, because that the animation in that scene holds up today. Like it's
Oh, yeah. Oh,
like
100%.
Oh, it's so good.
late 90s technology, but it was still like hold its own with its animation. So like it's always in my mind when I hear that theme. I always think of that. It was just cool that they briefly did it here, but the droids are like, "What's going on? Did we win?"
Yeah,
like, well,
I like that.
well, orders are orders. And they dropped the ball when we didn't hear any of them say Roger, Roger. Like, it would have been great if we heard that, but that would have just been a cherry on top. But I thought it was funny how the B1s would jump down as like on top of them and like wrestle down the other droids like it's like a monkey attacking like a person. It's like I thought like, we never even saw that before. Like they were just dumb things, but they were like actually playing dirty, I guess you could say. But they come out and they dominate basically, or at least enough for them to the Bad Batch and Trace and Rafa to escape. And they said that, with this information, they would have wanted to use this to help fight the Empire because that's who they were hired by, someone who wants to fight the Empire. And so,
Because they lost the head as they were trying to get away. Yeah.
Yep. And then, but when they fly off and then they land so they can part ways, and that's when Hunter gives the data rod to Rafa. And that was a nice scene where Hunter's playing he's, even though it's implied like she says that, you have to choose a side, like he's already been making that choice of choosing a side throughout this whole series,
Right.
and leading the team in that direction. And so that was nice. But when Rafa and Trace leave, they get in contact with the person that hired them. So what we know is she revealed that the person would be intrigued by rogue clones. And so I think that's so that they would be interested in rogue clones, but they're also someone who is already actively fighting against the Empire. And so that's why I don't believe it's Ahsoka and I don't believe it's Rex, because they wouldn't be in that fight so early and also hiring people. Like, how are they going to have either of them to have money to hire people? And I think they want you to think it's related to Ahsoka because they had the R7 droid there.
I don't think it's related to Ahsoka.
Well, I'm saying they want you to think that because it's the same droid that Ahsoka had, not like the same one, but like the same thing.
Yeah.
um, Ahsoka, the only friends that she has outside of the Empire or outside of the Jedi Order would have been Trace and Rafa. So it's like they want you to think it's Ahsoka, and by extension, Ahsoka would be Rex.
Yep.
And I think that, but it's too early in the game for either of them to be trying to actively fight the Empire. So, who do we know early on that knows that the Empire has ill intent? And I think that's Bail Organa, because him and Padme were the only ones that were disgusted at Emperor Palpatine's speech. So, like, I think that's the only obvious.
Well, who's another person who we already seen in this series?
Well, it could be Saw, but he already knows of the rogue clones in a
Well,
sense.
true, but it's we don't know. Like through that scene when they're talking, they just said rogue clones. Like, but the person one didn't say anything, and two, it's not like we don't know that he doesn't know. You know what I mean? And it could be Saw, like it could be him. There's nothing for me to say it wouldn't be him, but I mean I see your point too, Jeremiah. Like I don't think it's Ahsoka because why would she have them do that? Like what would be her?
The person in the hologram wasn't Ahsoka because they straight up used
A
a male pronoun. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So I think it could be Saw because he's already starting a rebellion. Like that's already
Yeah.
a thing, and everyone knows about that. And then he could be like, okay, so they're still out there, and they're not with the Empire. Like they're still out. The clones are still out there, you know. So I don't know.
I think it's Rex.
Straight up, for real.
Yep. And I'm not gonna think anything otherwise until I'm proven wrong.
I mean, I hope we get Rex next episode. That'd be sick.
Go over again what your reasoning behind it being Rex is.
I just wanted to be Rex.
So you don't have actually any like.
Well, I mean, okay. So my question is, how would Trace and Rafa, after being connected with Ahsoka, how would they be connected with Bail Organa? How would they have gotten connected with him?
Yeah, that's my only thing with Bale that doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah,
to
but you
me.
could say the same with Rex though. Like,
No.
No.
Rex is way more feasible because Ahsoka was directly connected with them.
Rex. Yeah.
And she's the common denominator between Rex and Trace and Rafa.
That
And
makes
so-
more sense to me than Bale.
Yeah, and I don't think Ahsoka's a part of the picture directly, but I think when Ahsoka, okay, so we know in Rebels she's Fulcrum, and she definitely becomes a part of the Resistance in some way, the rebellion, and so I don't think it's too far fetched for them to have already gotten involved. And them, I mean Rex and Ahsoka. I think Rex has gotten involved early because Ahsoka got involved early. And I think that Rex needed a job done. It's too high stakes right now for him to be out as a clone because he's easily recognizable. And so Ahsoka's like, oh, I know people who can get this done. And she gets in contact with Trace and Rafa. Or she has Rex do it instead in her stay.
Because like I don't think we're gonna. Like we're talking about earlier in the season. I don't think we're gonna get Ahsoka. We kind of are like we don't really need Ahsoka for this show, right? But to get someone like these characters that remind us of Ahsoka, and Rex reminds us of Ahsoka, and like Andrew was saying, the only thing that ties them both together would be Ahsoka. Because I just don't see, like, they're not going to know these two characters in the galaxy who's willing to help that are good. Unless, and that's why I was saying, I feel like if they volunteered for the Empire, like for the rebellion right away, because they saw that, like, their planet was already getting destroyed by the Empire and all that stuff. So if they volunteered to be part of the rebellion, the only, like, real rebellion right now would be why am I spacing his name right now?
Rex.
No. Saw is the only real rebellion out there.
Yeah, but then you have to think like how. Okay, so like when Order 66 happened and the Empire took over, of course there were immediate pockets of rebellion, but they weren't organized and
Exactly.
they weren't advertising. Obviously, like, hey, come join Saul's rebellion. You know, like it
No,
was
I know,
all
but
like the people that were a part of those cells were people that were already close to those people in general.
true.
And so, like, my question would be, how would they have gotten connected with Saul? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
the
I get that point, but
But
I think
Ahsoka
as
does
a
have connections with Saw though, because she helped train him.
well, sure, but I mean, they presumably they've been out of contact for a long time.
but also my thing is Saw is a character that we know that's part of the rebellion in the show. So if you take a writing perspective as a viewer who doesn't understand everything, it would make sense for them to just tie them together and call it good.
But
I
but
don't
also,
think it's Saw. I think it's Rex. I
Sure.
kind of Andrew kind of pushed me towards that when with that tie-in thing.
but so okay. Well, now this is gonna kind of like argue against me because it's gonna argue for Saw, but uh, in Clone Wars season 7, when Ahsoka calls in to get in contact with Anakin, she uses Anakin's deep space thing under the cover of Fulcrum, and he's like, "What? Saw Gerrera's calling?" So if she's Fulcrum, at some point she took that title from Saw, and so
Ooh.
like I don't know, Saw would make more sense than 2, but the thing is, I just don't know how Rex has the resources to hire
Well, no one said they're getting
to.
paid.
Here's
Remember
the
what
other
she said
thing.
at the end? She
Here's the
said,
other thing, though.
"You pick sides." No one
Yeah.
says anything about money yet. No.
But you know what he could be doing?
Drinking coffee.
He could be paying her in coffee.
Ooh, true.
And it just so happens that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea.
Which is probably the coffee they're going to use to.
To fuel the rebellion.
Oh,
All right.
alrighty.
Well, on that note, we're going to just take a listen. Here we go.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased
That was
to
a good
tell
one,
you that
Jeremiah.
The sponsor for today's episode
Shouts
is
out.
Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea.
Y'all
If you don't know anything
spam
about Wesley
Jeremiah in the
Andrews,
chat.
You definitely should.
I won't even say
They're an
his real
award-winning
name.
coffee roaster
Just
and
spam
shop
Jeremiah in the
Minneapolis,
chat.
Minnesota.
Hey,
And
David,
they
thanks
make
for the heads up about
fantastic
that, by the
coffee.
way. I looked
The
down.
awesome
He's like,
thing
man,
is that they have a subscription
I'm getting
service
kinda
that gets
thirsty.
those amazing coffee beans delivered to your door.
Yeah, I
on a
totally
either
forgot about the
weekly,
ad, not gonna lie.
bi-weekly, or a monthly basis. Unfortunately,
And
we're all being
David
negatively
definitely
affected by
typed
this
out the
virus right now.
entire
That
ad.
being said, what a better time to try some new coffee and
So,
support a local
there
He
business.
you
probably
go.
just copied and
I know
pasted. He
they'll
didn't.
greatly appreciate
Well,
it
yeah,
if
but
you
he
do
did.
well,
He did
too.
multiple times.
After all, using the code Empire Radio with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, when you start a new subscription at wesleyandrews.cc, you'll get 50% off your first purchase. I can't think of a better deal. Get 50% off, support a local Minneapolis coffee shop, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
do it.
Do it.
Do it.
You know what to do. It. I'm sorry. I don't know why that made me laugh, but it did. It made me laugh. Okay.
So
Sorry. Sometimes I make myself laugh over the stupidest things. That's fine.
Alright.
That's why we love
Anyway.
you.
anyway,
Thank you.
I think to go back, I think Bail Organa would make more sense, like I said, because he's right in Revenge of the Sith. He's already in opposition to the Empire, so he's one of the first people to be against the Empire.
Yep.
He has resources, and we know that, him and Mon Mothma very early on are, trying to resist the Empire and the Emperor, and I think that because he has the resources, he can more secretively do things and reach out to people and have context. And so now, how does he get in contact with Trace and Rafa, and why these two random girls that are like 500 levels down below Coruscant? Like, I don't know, but I don't know. I think the person's shoulder in the hologram looked like Bail Organa. Because it seemed like it was a bigger stature person, so
Hey,
Bail Organa has some wide shoulders.
Rex was well built,
Well, and also
and he'd be wearing a cape.
Well, it did look like he had like a robe sash type
it
thing.
it
over
did
it.
look
Yeah.
something.
So that's
Rex would cover himself up.
yeah, but the robe thing is like what Bale would always wear.
I think it's misleading.
Well, and that's just yeah.
I mean, we'll find out eventually.
Well,
At this
hopefully.
Now,
point,
the
we're
thing
gonna
is, though,
know.
we have two people that we don't know who it is: the person who hired Fennec and the person who hired Rafa and Trace. Like, we're getting all these crazy people like in hiding. We don't know who they are.
And you
like,
know what? They could be the same person.
Uh,
Could be.
no,
It's
probably
possible.
not.
What if?
I think
Do you
the
guys
people
think
who
about that?
hired Finnick is the Kaminoans.
Or maybe, I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
I'm out
that's,
of
David
ideas.
said that too. Why can't it be both?
I mean, it could be both. I'm not saying it can't be.
Because if they're looking for Omega, they're also looking for the Bad Batch. And if Trace and Rafa know that they're looking for rogue clones, then these rogue clones could be the Bad Batch, which the Kaminoans are also looking
Well,
for.
maybe it was Finnick. Maybe it was Boba Fett. Maybe it was Dengar.
Not both.
Or Babu Frick.
Okay.
Well, frick, that's a good point.
That hologram could have just been a
Boo.
blown up image
Sure.
because he was so
Well,
small. They
I
maybe
mean,
it was
make it
holograms. Everyone knows that holograms add 10 pounds, so we don't. It's possible.
And maybe you're right, puzzler. Maybe it was a gonk.
Could be
I
gone.
just saw that in the chat. Maybe it was a gonk. Or maybe it was gonk. The gonk.
Or Clink.
Or Clink. Maybe Clink is the mastermind behind this season.
What? I wish. You know what?
The cutest droid, also the most dangerous.
Yep.
Jeremiah's so done with us.
All right. Any other thoughts, predictions?
No, I've covered everything that I've formulated thus far.
My only prediction is when I think kind of what Andrew was saying before when he was doing predictions when we weren't doing predictions, and this is a time to do predictions.
Wow, man, that mute button is getting closer and closer.
Yeah, it's
huh?
getting hot, huh? Your finger's getting hot. I think kind of what Andrew was saying though, that Rex is they're gonna bump into Rex. Hopefully it's next episode. I'm dying for Rex right now. So I hope it's next episode, and I think a lot of it has to do with he's gonna be like, all right, how's your guys' chip levels? And Wrecker's gonna be like, dude, my head hurts, and this happened the other day. And then he's like, all right, you guys all have your chips. Let's take them out the way mine was taken out. And then they just take them all out. And then they go in.
Well, do we think that Wrecker's gonna tell what happened?
I think he's going to tell him what happened
Or
next episode,
do you think
no
he
matter
even
what.
knows what happened? Do you think he's once he
Ooh,
woke up,
that's
do you
a
think
good
he's
point.
aware of what happened? Or do you think
That's-
he just like fell asleep, got
That's a good
knocked
point.
out?
That's a good point.
That's a good
I
point.
don't know if he knows what happens, but he could tell him that my head's hurting.
Well,
Like they know that that's what's causing his head issues. Like Hunter's been like watching him, you know.
I also feel like Omega would be pretty quick to catch on to that too.
She'd probably be like, "It's your chip."
Oh,
I think that was a better impression than my impression of. Sorry.
It's all right.
okay.
All right.
No, she's not British.
New Zealand, British.
Same
No,
bit.
don't say that.
Just kidding.
Well, didn't the British inhabit Australia
Okay,
and
we're not
New
going.
Zealand?
We're not going there. We're not going there.
All right. Well, that's all I have.
All right.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Well,
I'm excited for next episode though.
well, everyone, this is a good time to let all of you know that you're listening, watching, whatever, that there are many ways to connect with us on the
Oh yeah,
internet.
socials. I was about to close this down.
Yeah, yeah. So if you want to catch us on Facebook or Instagram, both of the handles are at Empire Radio Podcast, all one word. YouTube, type in Empire Radio, a Star Wars podcast. We're on YouTube. And we are on Twitch, twitch.tv/Empire Radio. And we stream the recordings of all of these episodes on Tuesdays and on Fridays, as long as the Bad Batch is running. 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, or 5 minutes after, depending on how late we're running.
And depending on who's with us for the recording, also.
Yeah, apparently. So, anyways, more shots fired. There might be 2 mute buttons.
This might be.
tonight. Who knows? It's
You know,
just me.
last week it wasn't you, and now this
Yeah.
week it's only you. So it makes sense.
But yeah, so catch us on Twitch if you want to come and join, be a part of the chat. We've mentioned the chat already a few times. On Tuesdays, depending on the topic, we actually engage with the chat a lot more when we have the ability to. So it's a fun way to be a part of the recordings, and it's a fun way to interact with us. And last but surely not least, we do have our own Discord server. And if you want to join that, there's a link on our Facebook in a pinned post, as well as the link in our Instagram bio and on our Twitch account. Right, Drew?
Correct.
That link's up there.
There's a link for everything on the Twitch account to slide up, and you can click wherever you want, including a merch website that doesn't exist.
Okay. Well, we had it for a short run, and then it got taken down. But we're working on it.
It'll
We're
be
gonna get
back.
the merch back. Yeah, if you click on the link in the Instagram bio, it is actually a landing page link where you can go and be connected to all of our social media accounts, as well as a link to leave us a voicemail through Anchor.fm. You can do that. Also, there is a link down below all of the podcast streaming services that you might use to listen to the episodes. But you can click that link. You have a minute, up to a minute, to leave us whatever you want in a voicemail. And on Tuesdays at the end of the episodes, we play them and we react to them, answer questions, and listen to your feedback. So if you have a question or there's been something you've been wanting to say, hopefully it's not completely roasting us, but if it is and it's appropriate, we probably will still play it just for the fun of it. So leave us a voicemail. And again, if you've been listening over the past few episodes, we have this running challenge. If we get 12 voicemails before any Tuesday, and it has to be, like an hour before we start recording, because I have to prepare the voicemails ahead of time. But if we can get at least 12, not 11, at least 12, we will dedicate an entire episode to listening to voicemails and answering questions. So if you have 11 other friends and you all have legitimate questions, I don't want 12 dad jokes, even though that would be kind of funny. If you have 12 legitimate questions, send them in and we'll do that. But if not, we'll still react and answer questions. So again, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Discord, and voicemails. So those are the ways that you can connect with us online.
All right. Well, Jeremiah,
All right, cool. So this has been another phenomenal episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah,
I'm Drew.
And I'm Andrew.
and may the force be with you.
Always.